I think downloadable content is inevitable for Super Mario Odyssey, and when it happens, there will definitely be new kingdoms included in that DLC. But what are some ideas that I have for new kingdoms that could be in the game? Well, today, in no particular order, I'm going to list 10 of them that I think will work great in the game. The first one that I want to talk about today is a kingdom themed around a Yoshi game, particularly Yoshi's Island. Now, while Yoshi is a Mario character, he does appear in the main Mario games from time to time in his own series. There are many aspects that are exclusive to those games, and I think bringing it over to a main Mario game for the first time would be great to see. Certain enemies found within the Yoshi games, primarily the Shy Guys, aren't found in many main series Mario titles. So being able to fight them as Mario and potentially including Yoshi as a character that you could either play as or team up with in this DLC would be great to have. It'll be really fun to experience all of the charm that is found within the Yoshi worlds within Super Mario Odyssey. It could be themed around Yoshi's Island or the new Yoshi game that is already confirmed to come out on the Nintendo Switch. It would be a great way to cross-promote that game within Odyssey, which is already a success. Probably lead some people over to purchase the new Yoshi game for the Switch if they haven't already been sold on the game. The next idea that I have is a mountain-themed kingdom. Mainly in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, we see around World 6 at some point a mountain-themed world, and this is very interesting, and I always like the enemies and the terrain within this world. We constantly see bullet bills and chain chomps going around everywhere. It's a very dangerous setting. I think that for some of the more hardcore Mario fans, this would be a very difficult world that you could install. Perhaps you could have the Chuckyas included in this one, and they'll throw you off like they did in Tall Tall Mountain in Super Mario 64. I think that'd be a great reference to that game. Perhaps at the center of the top of this mountain, there could be a small canyon that if you fall in, you will die, so you have to be very careful at the top. Adding a sense of urgency to a Mario world is always a better feeling, in my opinion, because you're constantly aware of what's going on around you, and while some people don't like the sense of stress in a video game, this would be optional DLC that for people who want a more difficult challenge could purchase, and there would be a feeling of stress the entire time when going through this. But one that would definitely not feel that way is a toy-themed kingdom. Similar to the Ribbon Road track from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this would be great to have. I remember in Mario Party DS, the main theme of that game was that the characters were shrunk down to a smaller size. And this could be the theme used for a toy kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey, where the characters are much smaller, so traversing a world filled with toys would be a very daunting and difficult task, having the enemies based off of toy trucks, for example. There could be many references to the Mario Kart track as well, even having some toy Mario Kart cars traveling through the track. I feel that this one could just have a lot of charm to it, so I'd love for it to be included as DLC for the game. Next up is one that I talked about before, a Prehistoric Kingdom. Incorporating some elements of history into Super Mario Odyssey would be great to see, because the enemies that could be themed around it would be amazing. Of course, the famous T-Rex enemy from Super Mario Odyssey would be seamlessly incorporated into this world, but if you want to hear me talk more about that enemy, check out my greatest enemies from Odyssey video. I made an entire video about the enemies from the game. It's a menacing beast that could be a primary obstacle to avoid within this world, but you could also have some pterodactyl enemies and other ones themed after dinosaurs, perhaps some skeleton enemies similar to the ones from the Zelda series, and so on. This could be another one like the Mountain Kingdom that would be constantly dangerous, and you have to avoid ground that splits apart in a similar way to the meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs. The world would be crumbling apart. The next idea that I just wanted to bundle a bunch of these worlds together, is callback kingdoms or remakes of existing 3D Mario worlds like Isle Delfino, Bob-omb Battlefield, and perhaps a Galaxy location or two. These are famous worlds from 3D Mario's past that lots of people request to be brought back in HD. I see people clamoring for a Sunshine HD remake, but if the main worlds from those games were to be included as DLC for Odyssey, I think people would still be happy. It'd just be a great sense of nostalgia to have, and it seems like Isle Delfino was at least planned to be included in Super Mario Odyssey because it's on the globe of the map on the Odyssey. Bob-omb Battlefield could be integrated into a certain location that's accessed after you beat Super Mario Odyssey. I'm not going to reveal it in case you haven't beaten the game yet. And Galaxy locations could be integrated in a similar way to how well, the final world is. Next up, an underground kingdom. The world 1-2 from many of the Mario games is going to be a world that I'd like to see in Odyssey. Being trapped underground would be a great theme for a kingdom, not just one small part of a kingdom. I want an entire one based around this. You could even integrate some of the minecarts from the Donkey Kong series into this, which I think would be pretty cool as well. But the interior design of the underground levels within the Mario games is just something that I have to appreciate. Just going into Super Mario Maker and placing all of those gem platforms on the ground, man, they just look so good. And seeing them in 3D and HD in Odyssey would be even better. The next one is a more unique idea, but I think it could work. I didn't want to include this in the callback section because it's that unique. A flower kingdom based off of Siiroth Land from Super Mario Land. Daisy rarely gets included in main series Mario titles, and with all of the references to old characters currently in Super Mario Odyssey, I'd love to see Daisy included. And what a better way to include her by making a flower-themed kingdom or a world just based off of Siiroth Land from Super Mario Land. You can include some of the main locations from Mario Land and have Daisy make a cameo as either the damsel in distress or somebody that assists you in the main gameplay. Flowers are Daisy's main logo. You see it in the Mario spin-off titles all the time, so it would definitely be populated with flowers. I just love to see more callbacks like this, little references to existing kingdoms, in a similar way to how Kid Icarus Uprising was made, being a reference to the original Kid Icarus, but being vastly different in style. I can see that being the same way that this kingdom is created in Super Mario Odyssey, using the same characters and inspiring from certain locations in the original game, but still being vastly different. The next kingdom that I want is an amusement park kingdom, and this would not only include many rides. I take you back to some locations within Mario Party games or an area from Mario Super Sluggers, but speaking of Mario Super Sluggers, you could also include some sports stadiums within this kingdom and have some mini games based off of the Mario sports games. For more information about Mario sports games, click the link in the top right. I made a video about how the games are on a downfall. This would be a way of rising them back up again, referencing them in a mainline Mario title, perhaps getting more people interested in the Mario sports games that aren't already. It'd just be a fun reference for all those Mario sports fans out there, and just be a nice kingdom to explore through. Amusement parks are a very happy place to be, so this would be great to see in a game like this. A robotic-themed kingdom would also be good, but I'd like to think of it as a mix of TikTok Clock and a Bob-omb factory, because we haven't actually seen Bob-ombs in Super Mario Odyssey. They're not in the game, which is a very notable absence from Super Mario Odyssey, because Bob-ombs are normally in all of the Mario games, but not in this one. So maybe they're saving the Bob-ombs to put in a kingdom solely based around them. Could be Bob-omb Battlefield like I talked about before, but if that doesn't end up being included into the game, I think a robotic kingdom like a factory style, including Bob-ombs coming off of conveyor belts, would be amazing. And this last one, a lot of people have been requesting for it. I'm going to talk about it now, a spooky themed kingdom. Out of all of the worlds that I've seen people predicting to be in Super Mario Odyssey before the game's initial release, a spooky kingdom definitely is the most common one to see. I know a lot of people really enjoyed going through Big Boo's Haunt from Super Mario 64, and you could also reference Luigi's Mansion by having a haunted mansion within the world. It could contain some of the ghosts from a Luigi's Mansion game and subtle Easter eggs like that. But including the Boos, which is another notable absence from Super Mario Odyssey, into this kingdom would be great to see. And perhaps as the kingdom's local boss, you could include King Boo or something like that. Creating an eerie feeling within Super Mario Odyssey is something that I would definitely like to see, and this could be added as downloadable content for the game. Now, for more Super Mario Odyssey content to come, remember to subscribe and tick the bell icon so you do not miss the latest uploads about Mario when I release them. Check out some of the previous videos that I've done. I mentioned a few of them in this video. Some of them are on the screen right now. Thanks for watching. See ya.